What's going on, Sports Wars? This is Ryan with RK Outpost and GeeksandGamers.com, and the NFL is doing its best job to lie to everyone right now, to put a positive spin on these ratings, because as we all know, it is an absolute disaster for the NFL across the board. And it's not a surprise that they want to try to hide this from people, that they want to try to pretend like everything is fine, when in reality, it is crumbling around them due to the NFL's emphasis on social justice, the woke NFL message that you have to listen to every time you turn on the TV, every time you look at the field, and every time you see the back of a player's helmet. Look at this article right here. NFL puts positive spin on week 1 ratings decline. Says it had top 5 rated TV shows last week. And, in fact, that is true when you look at it that way. You can see right here, NFL media, right? The Spin Masters. The numbers are in. The top 5 TV shows last week were all NFL games. Right? And of course, they list all of the top rated TV shows last week, all NFL games. You might look at that and say, wow, that's incredible. But in reality, when you dig beyond this surface, you compare it to the numbers last year, which is what you have to do. Obviously, we all know the NFL is ginormous. It's going to do huge ratings. But what do those ratings compare to what they were last year, before you started going woke and putting all this emphasis on the social justice nonsense on the field and in the broadcast booth? That's the real teller, isn't it? Well, of course, you know that when we look at these, they are absolutely tanking. Ratings across the board have fallen. But let's look at the article. Week 1 in the NFL saw the kind of ratings numbers that any sports league, network, or any TV show in general would love to have. The NFL pointed that out on Wednesday. That's fair. If you get more than 25 million people to watch anything, you have something special. However, fair or not, the NFL isn't competing against other television shows, and it's definitely not competing against other sports leagues. It's competing against its past success. In that way, it's hard to paint week 1 as a big win for the league. And we know that ratings were absolutely trash. We talked about that Thursday night football game, how ratings were down over double digits, at least 12% when you just look at the numbers, even more when you consider the ratings themselves. And of course, we know the same thing happened for Sunday Night Football with the Dallas Cowboys. Quote, America's team couldn't get those ratings up. A huge decline for Sunday Night Football. And then Monday Night Football was absolute garbage. You combine the woke NFL with the woke ESPN social justice spin team, and holy shit, nobody wants to watch that garbage. But when we take it back here, right? We take it back and we look at one of the things that's actually helping the NFL this season. NFL ratings likely would have been even more down without out-of-home viewership, because now they are counting, for the first time ever in the Nielsen ratings, they are counting out-of-home viewership. So if you go and you watch this game at a Buffalo Wild Wings, you go to your local sports bar and watch it, all of those things are now counted towards ratings, and that is a big deal. We know that there's a lot of places that are still shut down right now, but there are some places that are open, and there are definitely people that are out of home watching these games. When you look at it that way, it looks even worse when you just compare the in-home ratings from last year's in-home ratings. Because like we talked about, NBC, the Thursday night, was terrible. CBS was terrible. Fox was the only station that had a positive gain, and that was mostly due to the Brady-Breeze matchup. Two absolute greatest of all time candidates for quarterback. Tom Brady on a new team. That does not happen. We know that that's why the ratings surged for Fox just a little bit. But when you look at the actual ratings, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit on this so you guys can see it better. When you look at this bottom category right here, so here are all the drops on the top when you look at the ratings that we have now. But if you look at it from last year, you see those drops are even bigger. Minus 13, minus 17, minus 2 for even the Fox games. Even for Tom Brady's debut as a Buccaneer, the ratings would have been down if you had been comparing it to last year's rating system. And then, of course, Sunday night absolutely tanking at minus 17. Monday night ratings are not available yet. That's why they are not there. But you get the picture. If we would have been using last year's system, the NFL ratings would be even more tragic. So the NFL is doing its best to lie to you because they have to. They have to try to preserve their image in some way. If you're Roger Goodell, if you're anyone associated with the NFL, you have to be freaking out right now because people are rejecting your politics. You bent over for these people. You, Roger Goodell, took a knee for these players and said, well, we believe anything you think. We don't want to be canceled, please. Don't come out and cancel us. Black Lives Matter. We believe that. You apologize to Colin Kaepernick, even though he has been roasting the NFL and his entire narrative has been that you've tried to keep him out, when in fact, we all know no one is interested in signing Colin Kaepernick. That report came out this year, even after Roger Goodell pleaded with people to sign Colin Kaepernick. No one has, because no one wants him except Madden. Madden's about the only thing that wants to use Colin Kaepernick this day and age. And the article continues to go on and says the NFL will be watching ratings closely. Of course they will. Now they say this. It's hard to know what's behind the ratings drop. Really? Is it really? You don't think the fact that they have decided to make this thing entirely about politics? You have people kneeling during the national anthem in droves. You have people holding up banners that say end racism. Listen, everyone thinks that racism is bad. Spoiler alert. About 0.0001% of the population is okay with racism. You're not making some grand statement. You're not making some virtue signal. All you're doing is you're trying to tell your audience that they are bad people. That is what you are doing right now, and it's so frustrating to watch. ESPN is the worst of all. At least CBS told their commentators to back off on that a little bit, but this is a joke. We all know the truth, and no matter, I shouldn't say we all know the truth, because when you look at the replies to this tweet, there are a bunch of absolute idiots, right? Because there's a lot of morons in the world that think this means that it's a good thing. Without any context, they're like, wow, haters BTFO. When in reality, if you compare it to last year, the ratings across the board have dropped. These people are absolute losers if you believe the spin that the NFL's putting on it. If you believe the mainstream media, that's why you are coming to Outkick. That's why you're coming to Sports Wars right now for the real story. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.